The class today ideally will use blocks, and if you don't have blocks, you could use a stack of books. The first posture, ideally, stack up the books or use blocks, and for the rest of them, we can use our hands or books instead. We're going to start in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly, with some block support or some book support. And if you don't have books, ask your neighbor. We'll take the blocks at an angle. So one block will be under the shoulder blades and the other block will be under the head. So from the side, it will look like this. This is where we'll lay the shoulder blades. This is where we'll lay the back of our head. I'm going to do it to this angle. Placing the lower of the two blocks right underneath the shoulder blade. Not in the middle back, a little bit higher than that. And the other block, position it underneath your head. Adjust your books to your blocks comfortably and keep the legs straight or place your feet apart and knees together. Or a deeper expression would be in butterfly. If this feels good on the low back, if you feel free there, no tension, no pinching, be with the feet together and the knees apart. Open your palms. Draw your chin gently in and back. Relax your teeth, let your jaw feel heavy. Feel supported here. Arms heavy on the mat. Feet supported, hips supported. The head relaxes against the block. The shoulder blades relax against the block. As you breathe in, repeat silently to yourself, so. And as you exhale, hum. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Continue to silently repeat this mantra to yourself. Notice how this mantra effortlessly rides the breath. Inhale, so. Exhale, hum. Relax your mind. Feel your heart lifted here. We'll take 10 more breaths. Stay exactly as you are, or if it feels okay, you can interlace your fingers and reach your arms over your head. Not going where there's pain. To Take a few final breaths here. Mindfully come out of this pose if the arms are over the head. First, release the arms. If your legs are in butterfly, bring your knees together, extend the legs. Turn your palms down onto the mat, lift your head, bring your chin to your chest, slide your hands back, push evenly into the hands. Come to seated. You can sit onto your blocks, or you can sit onto your books, or onto the mat. Come to a seated, cross-legged posture. Feel the benefits of that pose. Breathe in fully, breathe out fully. Place your hands underneath your belly button. So find the belly button, place your hands below it. Breathe in. As you exhale, imagine that area drawing in, drawing back towards the spine, and gently drawing up towards the lungs. Inhale, relax the area completely. And over the next few breaths, become aware of that movement below the belly button. As you exhale, draw it in, back, gently up. As you breathe in, release, relax your belly, lift your chest, and exhale, breathe out. Draw in, up. Feel that area pulling up, creating power in the body. Release, open your eyes. Switch the crossing of your legs, come off the block. And either using blocks or not, or books, we're going to place our hands next to the hips, fingers facing forward, and we're going to lift the hips off the mat. You don't have to lift your hips very high, but we want to, on the exhale, push into our blocks, hands, and feel that area become a little bit hollow. The low back feels wide. Exhale, drawing in. And then inhale, release your hips and breathe fully. Exhale, do that 2 more times. As you exhale, push into the blocks, lift your hips. Maybe send your hips back gently. Chin can come to the chest, but the low belly draws back and up. Inhale, sit down. Lift your chest. And exhale, do that 1 more time. Release, bring your hands to your knees. Take a breath in. Exhale, breathe all the way out, and at the bottom of your exhale, squeeze your pelvic floor muscles, your perineum. Imagine that you're stopping yourself from peeing. And then inhale, release that muscle, fill up your belly, fill up your chest. And do that 2 more times. Exhale fully. And at the bottom of your exhale, pause with no breath and squeeze the muscles in the pelvic floor. Release, breathe in. Exhale. Pause, squeeze. release, breathe in. Place your hands next to you on the blocks or on the mat. It's a little harder with your hands on the mat. And as you exhale, lift your hips, draw your low belly in and back, and also squeeze up and in. And release, inhale. And do that 2 more times. Exhale fully, draw your low belly back, in, up. Engage the perineum, mula bandha, your pelvic floor. Pause. Release as you breathe in. Lift your chest. And then do that 1 more time. Maybe look down. Release. Nice. Bring your hands to the hips and take 3 breaths here. As you exhale, engage those 2 areas, the low belly, the pelvic floor, and notice how the hip points draw in ever so slightly, widening the low back. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, draw those 2 points together, the low belly and the pelvic floor. See if you can meet them energetically inside the body. Take 1 more breath. Exhale. Slide your blocks back, or maybe you don't want to use them at all. We'll come into reverse tabletop. You can have your hands on your blocks or off. Lift your hips. Look towards the knees, or drop the head back. Push down more into the pointer finger and the thumb. Awareness in the hands, awareness in the feet. Breathe in. Exhale, release. Cross your legs, come over into hands and knees. 6 rounds of cat and cow. As you exhale, feel that drawing in and up, now towards the ceiling. The low back is wide. Inhale, open the heart. Draw your wrists back towards the knees. Lift your chin and your tailbone. Exhale, draw in. Breathing all the breath out. Inhale, smiling with the spine. Move with your own breath for the last couple rounds. Inhale, come into cow pose, smile with the spine, tuck your toes under, and exhale, lift your hips up and back, come into downward facing dog. Look forward and spread the fingers. Look back, soften the knees, turn your heels ever so slightly out to help with inner rotation of the thighs. In this different plane, see if you can feel that same movement of the breath, same awareness of the low belly and the pelvic floor as you exhale. Feel the breath expanding into the belly, into the ribs and the heart. As you exhale, breathe the breath out. Feel yourself getting connected inside and wide through the low back. Walk your hands to your feet. Bend your knees and float your arms back. Interlace the fingers, fold forward. Relax your head, shake your head if you wish. Straighten the legs if you wish, or keep them nice and bent. Bent so much that the belly can lay onto the thighs. Tip the weight a little bit forward into the toes to allow the shoulders to stretch a little bit more. Release. Crawl forward to plank pose. Feet parallel, hands parallel. Inhaling fully. exhale, knees onto the mat. Walk your hands forward into puppy dog pose. Forehead or chin or chest on the mat. See if you can feel that widening on the exhales. Push into your hands, lift your elbows, and bring your elbows down. Elbows under the shoulders. Walk your feet back, come into forearm plank. Full breaths. Squeezing the elbows towards each other, lighting up the pec muscles, thighs active, heels and crown of your head reaching in opposite direction. Lower your hips. Take a breath into Sphinx pose and then lower down. Bring your hands by your side, forehead down. Walk your feet together like you're zipping them up and then lift your feet off the mat. Keep your forehead down and your hands down and squeeze the legs towards each other. Still breathe. As you exhale, lower the feet and lift your chest. Keep the feet down and the hands down and squeeze the muscles along the spine to lift your head and chest. Keep breathing. Lower down, interlace the fingers, and lift all at the same time. Lift your legs, squeezing them towards each other. Lift your chest. Chin in, elongate the neck. Open your shoulders. Feel the muscles along the spine. Release, come into downward facing dog with the knees bent. Release your spine. Look forward. Step the right foot forward and the left knee comes down. Come into a low lunge and place your hands onto the low back. Squeeze your elbows towards one another. Pull your ribs gently in. Lift your chest. As you breathe in, lift the chest and feel like you're adding a gentle back bend into this pose without pinching the low back. So you're pushing down into the hands and lifting your chest. If it feels good, bring your arms up and back. Inhale. Exhale, hands down. Step to plank pose. We'll come onto our elbows, so lower onto your knees and come into the elbows and step back, or lower straight into the elbows. Breathe in. Exhale, hips down. Sphinx pose, draw your elbows back, heart forward. Lower, hands down, and downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. Inhale. And step the left foot forward. Bring the right knee down and do the same thing on this side. Bring your hands to your sacrum. Fingers are facing down and elbows are squeezing towards each other. And imagine, instead of going as far forward as you can, push your hands down, like you're pushing your butt towards your back knee, and lift your chest. As you breathe in, float up into the chest. Lean back. Maybe bring your arms up without dumping the weight forward. Give yourself a gentle back bend here. Inhale and exhale. Bring your hands down. Step to plank pose. Lower onto your elbows. Forearm plank squeeze. Lower the hips. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees. look towards your hands and lightly hop your way forward. Graceful or ungraceful. We'll come onto the knees and take a book or your block, place it in between the knees, and squeeze the block. Feel this squeeze, feel the inner thighs active here. Take your hands to the low back and then push it down again without releasing any squeeze on the block. Push your low back down, squeeze the block, and inhale, lift your chest. You can have your chin in your chest the whole time or open the throat, squeeze your elbows. Gently bring yourself to neutral. Release the block. Separate your knees. Come into child's pose with the arms active. Tricep squeezing. Walk over to one side. Elongate the side body. Keep your arms active. Walk to the other side. Come to the center. Fingertips active. Push into the mat. Come into tabletop. Push into your hands. Draw your knees up and together. Tuck the toes under. Come into downward facing dog. Spread the fingers and activate the fingertips. Push into the mat like you're pushing it forward. Lift your hips up without necessarily straightening the legs. See if you can tilt the pelvis. Lift the right leg up. Look back, toes are facing down. Only lifting the leg high as you can to keep the hips parallel. So if you lift the hips and they turn open, lower the foot. Lift from the inside of your leg. Tap your right toes down to the mat. Inhale, lift the leg. Tap it outside the mat to the right. Inhale, lift the leg, and tap it outside to the left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, shift into plank. Bring your knee to your nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Do that 2 more times. Exhale, tap in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, and then step your foot forward. Come into a high lunge. Float up. Cactus the arms. Open your chest. Turn your hands down. Interlace the fingers behind you. Stay upright. Fold forward. Or bring the back foot down and fold. Back arch lifted. Lift your chest gently. Bring your hands down. Make your way to down dog. You can flow through a vinyasa if you wish, adding more heat. Lift the left leg. Keep the toes facing down. The top of the left thigh turning slightly in, and tap your toes down to the mat, and then inhale, lift, and exhale, tap your toes to the left, and lift, and then cross it behind the right foot, tap, and lift. Exhale, bring your knee towards your face, shifting into a plank pose, lift up 2 more times. Lift up and step your foot forward. Lift into a high lunge as you breathe in. Open your chest into cactus. Turn your hands down. Interlace the fingers. Open your chest. Fold over the thigh or drop the back heel and fold. Lift up, place your hands down, downward facing dog. Come onto your knees. You can hop forward onto the knees or lower your knees onto the mat. And we'll come into camel pose. You can, again, have the block there if you wish. I really like using the block. It reminds you to not just push your hips forward and feel a really deep lumbar, low back bend. We want to feel it into the whole body. Squeeze the block, hands onto the low back, fingers facing down. Start to inhale and lift your chest. Keep lifting up, keep squeezing the block, all the energy moving up from the knees to the head. As you exhale, feel that squeeze that we were working on in our breath in the low back and in the pelvic floor. Maybe bring your hands to the heels. Slowly come upright. Sit onto the heels, remove your block. Open your palms, bring your chin to your chest, push your ribs back. Bring your hands down, lift up, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and turn to the long side of your mat. Turn your heels in and your toes out. Place your hands onto the knees. Use your right hand as leverage. Push it into the leg. Drop your right shoulder over to the left and twist in your goddess pose. Not forgetting to breathe. Not forgetting to connect to the low belly and the pelvic floor. Find that widening as you exhale. And take one more breath. And come up and over to the other side. Bend the right elbow and use your left arm to press away from the leg. Twist your spine. Come to center. Straighten your legs. Turn your toes in, hands on your hips. Tip forward. Place your hands down. Bring a little bit of weight into your toes. Heels are further away from you than the toes are. Relax the head. If your head is touching the ground, walk your feet closer together. Lift up, elongate the spine, walk your hands around your front foot, and step to downward facing dog. Breathe in here, and exhale, lower onto your knees, and lower onto the elbows, and come into dolphin pose. Another really nice opportunity to use the blocks. You can squeeze it in between your forearms, or squeeze it in between your pointer fingers to kind of light up under the armpits and the pecs. Keep your head off the mat. Maybe you don't need the block. Lift your hips. Keep the knees bent. Walk your feet closer to your elbows. And then push like you're pushing the mat forward through the elbows, through the forearms, through the fingers. Come into dolphin. Long spine. Release. Sit back onto your heels or sit back onto your blocks or your books. Open your palms. And we're going to do that one more time with an option to take it up into forearm stand or to take it up into scorpion. So if that is not in your practice, repeat the pose that we just did. squeezing in. We're not letting the weight of our upper body spread the elbows. We're squeezing around the block or invisibly squeezing to keep the upper body strong. You can stay there, or you can work towards forearm stand or scorpion. Walking the feet in. If you're coming into forearm stand, the same thing, that tapping of the foot. You can look gently forward and come into forearm stand. Bring your tailbone towards the heels. Feel that same breath movement. Inhale, fully relax, and exhale, draw in and up and back. If you're coming towards scorpion, allow the chest to come forward first. Don't drop the legs. Look forward, bend the knees, open your chest. Keep the elbows drawing back and the chest forward. Use a wall here if you wish. Feel good in the low back. Release. Come into embryo pose. Knees down, feet together. Inhale through your nose, out the mouth. Press yourself into tabletop, and then cross your ankles, sit down, extend the legs. Without pulling the flesh back, move your hips back, flex your feet. Press gently into the fingers. As you exhale, feel the low back widening, the hip points drawing in. We'll come into a forward fold, any forward fold. So you can bend the knees a lot. For me, because of hamstring injuries, I like to put blocks underneath my knees and fold my chest over the thighs with my feet relaxed. But you can take this with the legs straight, reaching for your toes, or using a scarf or a blanket, or a belt around the feet. Take a forward fold here. Full breath. Use your hands to help you come up without lifting your head first. Push into the hands and slowly unwind the spine. Let your head float on top of the shoulders. Remove any props. Scoot your hips forward. Lay down. Bring your knees into the chest. Take a yogi's choice twist to the right. This can be eagle legs. You can have your legs together. Neutralize your back bending today. Let the neck be the last thing to twist. If it feels good, look to the opposite way of your knees. Switch your sides. Breath calm, smooth, and deep.
Come to center. One last hug, squeezing yourself into the tiniest ball that you can be. And then releasing fully. Extend your legs, turn your palms open. Lift your head and bring your chin to your chest and then lay your head down slow. Push your head into the mat. Shimmy your shoulders down the back. Dig your heels in to the mat. Lift and tuck your tailbone. Then release. Palms open, feet heavy, lazy. If you're still taking active breaths, release. Notice the breath, but without changing it. Let your breath be silent. Walk your feet together. Reach your arms over your head. As you breathe in, repeat to yourself, so. As you exhale, hum. Take 2 more breaths. Extend through the fingertips, through the toes. So. Hum. Allow yourself to feel wide. One more. As you exhale, bring your knees in, hug yourself, roll to one side or rock up to seated. Hand on your heart, hand on your belly. Breathe. Feel relaxed in your face. Feel present with yourself. Peaceful. Place both hands over your heart. Feel your heart beating. Feel love. Namaste.